Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad. Take a dive on sports. Welcome to my video that's, I can say is a day late and a dollar short. Because on Wednesday night, there was a statement released by the Athletics that they have a binding agreement to buy 49 acres of land in Las Vegas to build a brand new stadium. This is kind of a shock to a lot of the Oakland Athletics fans. For me, as an outsider looking into this one, I saw this one coming. Athletics have been trying to get a stadium since 2001. They've had 16 different proposed stadiums fail. Or 15 of them fail. One of the 15 was actually blocked by the San Francisco Giants because had them moving down to the San Jose area. And the Giants no, that's our backyard, back off. So the Athletics backed away from that one. So I get, the territorial waters of these franchises. They have no, this is part of our influence. And their latest one is the Howard Terminal project right there on the docks. Howard Terminal is a location that was bustling as a port in the city of Oakland. That's seen better days and is part of a revitalization. Rejuvenation. There we go. Of the area, and bring back businesses down to there and generate more money for the city of Oakland. Also providing more housing, given a waterfront stadium for the Athletics. Keep a couple cranes of Howard Terminal still standing up there as a backdrop for the center field. Much like if you look at Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they got their bridges in the background. And for many different reasons, it was a slow, tedious project. And with they've also reached out to the U.S. Department of Transportation, looking to get some additional funds because of what the Howard Terminal was part of, and now was part of the Treasury Department or Transportation Department's umbrella influence, and they denied them any extra funds for that area, which means more money for the taxpayers. Which this is a whole different area in terms of dealing with owners and cities and taxpayers who should foot the bill for stadiums. But with this one, they just kind of went, you know what? I think last year or early this year, Major League Baseball kind of told the Athletics, listen, you've been going after Oakland for 20 years. It's time for you to start looking at other options. And I was hoping that going with different options was a way to get maybe make Oakland or in the city kind of speed up the process. Now there's a lot of layers to this story, and it is kind of a juicy detail of what has transpired. Now, a little bit of history in dealing with the athletic organization. They themselves originated in the city of Philadelphia in 1901 with the birth of the American League. Now, they stayed there in Philadelphia until 54. During that time frame, they barely had any success. They had any very quality product, and they were kind of losing some fan support to their crosstown rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies. So at that time frame, they moved the franchise to Kansas City, gave them a fresh start. new location, bring baseball to another location, expanding the sport professionally. And Kansas City has success in other arenas, especially minor league baseball in the old segregated leagues with the Kansas City Monarchs. So the birth of putting the Athletics there was not much of a stretch. Once again, poor play. Didn't really generate a lot of revenue for the Athletics in Kansas City, so they started looking for a new home. Now there's many different aspects. They looked at Minneapolis, St. Paul area, when it did end up getting the old Washington Nationals to move up there. They looked at Dallas-Fort Worth. They, too, got the expansion Washington Senators to move out there. They looked to put a team back in Louisville, Kentucky. Once was one of the old school members of the National League. Looking to put a team there. They're talking about going into Oakland, and then they end up looking to try to put some small town outside of there. But after a while, the Major League Baseball was denying everything until when they finally stated they were going to go to a small town for a stadium. They're like, no, go to Oakland. And that was 1968. And this has how long the Athletics have been in Oakland. They have been a mainstay out there. One of the pillars of the Oakland professional sports rhetoric. They joined up with the Raiders, the Warriors. They actually had the Seals there for a while in the National Hockey League. They were the Oakland Seals, California Golden Seals. I mean, they went by a couple of different iterations. The NHL aspect went away because there wasn't much fan support and the team wasn't making money. Like I said, the Warriors left. Then going back to San Francisco in a brand new arena. The Raiders left a second time, this time I think permanently because they built a brand new stadium in Las Vegas. And when it came to Oakland, like I said, they've been battling for a stadium for 20 plus years. They were working with the current Oakland mayor, Shane Thau, and they were kind of hit impasse. They were not budging. Cavill was not being forthright and trying to help support that to generate enough funds to help bolster what the team would put into this project. Oakland then reached out to the Department of Transportation because Howard Terminal fell in that spot because Howard Terminal was a huge active port. It's now gone away because it's just how things work nowadays. Things just kind of you get used and abused, and then they go somewhere else that's more shiny and newer. So look at something to kind of revitalize the area and bring it back to life, thus generating more revenue for the city of Oakland. And the Department of Transportation went, no, we're not giving you $1 million or $2 million. I think it was I forgot the exact numbers for that. So that wasn't happening. So then came to the point of, okay, what's going to happen? How are funds going to come in? Do we tax the city more? Do you tax the citizens more? And that deals with a whole different aspect of the Major League sports owners and the cities. Who should foot the bill? Cavill, the current owner of the Athletics, has been part of one of the worst owners of recent history of baseball because he will not spend the money. He doesn't spend the money on players. You expect him to spend money on the stadium? No. There's no reason why Moneyball was a thing. When he would not start paying players top dollar, they would walk. And that's part of the problem. They would not pay these guys anything and then end up leaving and have greater careers elsewhere. And then they started, that's when the Moneyball came into play, where they used statistics to help build a team that was competitive for many years, he just couldn't get over the hump. Even though he was competitive with players, almost no-name players, or players on their second, third, fourth chance, and still providing a quality product. Cavill still would not raise the salary of the team. It's one of the worst teams in terms of average salary in the Major League Baseball. And he's not going to spend the money on the stadium, especially since the stadium's not really, he can't do anything about it anyway. It's owned by the counties in the city of Oakland, so he had no control over the stadium. And he saw how bad the stadium's starting to get. Old concrete, just, it's withstood the test of time. It's withstood earthquakes. So kudos to the engineering of the stadium that's lasted this long. But it was time for the cookie cutter, the last of the cookie cutters, to go away. And with Howard Terminal project kind of hitting an impasse, Cavill was particularly doing other things. And in this modern day and age, that's pretty impressive how he's able to finagle and work these things out. And him get bought a 49-acre plot of land that was owned by Red Rock Resorts. So apparently he's able to buy land. I think Nevada and the city of Las Vegas will probably end up fitting the bill, much like they did with Allegiant Stadium and T-Mobile, to build a brand new ballpark. The latest rendering was an old school retractable roof, much like Chase Field out there in Phoenix. And baseball is just one of those sports that has done extremely well in Las Vegas. It's been the longest tenured sport in the city. I was there between 93 and 95. So I was there during the IHL before their collapse when they had the Las Vegas Thunder. I was there when the CFL had the Las Vegas Posse that failed miserably. Sold back to the league, not even halfway through the season. Arena football, indoor soccer. So a lot of different sports are trying to go through there, but none of the major leagues would really set foot in Las Vegas. It was, forbidden territory because of the gambling. Now that gambling has gone more mainstream, I want to say, and accepted in a lot more areas, especially with the online aspect with like FanDuel and those other type of websites that allow you to bet on games. Plus, the professional leagues do have the morality clause in there where you can't bet on games of those type of nature. So Vegas is starting to look more and more like a possible choice. Now, I thought the first sport I might have went out there was baseball. I really thought baseball had been the first one to go there because that's been, like I said, the longest tenured sport there. Las Vegas Stars have been there for a long time. Now they're known as the Aviators. So, I knew that, baseball could actually work out there in Vegas. And then when I did a video in beginning stages of my channel, when I talk about expansions and whatnot, and talk about Major League Baseball looking at what to do with the A's and the Rays, and I said the A's will end up going to Las Vegas. It's more or less likely they were going there. So this move didn't shock me. How went about it did shock me. How it broke shocked me. Because I didn't really find out about it 2 days later. It was so hidden that, it took a while for me to really kind of notice that it happened. And it's not really being broadcast anywhere. It's kind of like, It's not even a blip on the radar. They just completely overlooked it. And But I think this is more of an attack on the city of Oakland. Mayor Shang Thao really call it extremely disappointing and talking about the negotiations that it had with Cavill disingenuous, which, correct. I don't think Cavill was looking to stay in Oakland. He went out. I think 20 plus years trying to get a stadium in and around Oakland has proven fruitless. And he was like, nope, we got to start anew. That's why the rumors of Las Vegas or Portland was the other one that popped up. Was probably going to happen. And that's my dog agreeing with me. But then it falls into who fault is it for this move? Much like the Montreal Expos, that really they tried to get a stadium built in Montreal, and they couldn't get anything built for them, and the owners was not paying the money for the players, so the quality of play on the field diminished. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So they ended up, selling the team, and the team got relocated to Washington, where they had the rebirth of the Nationals. Now, they ended up winning the World Series a couple years later. Now we'll fast forward into, technically that time frame in Montreal, Oakland was doing the exact same damn thing. Not paying players, trying to get a stadium. And he just wouldn't pay anything, and that's the whole thing. He would not spend his money. He's like Scrooge McDuck, just hoarding his money. Wouldn't spend anything. Would not spend a dime. And that's part of the problem with some of these owners. They will take your money hand over fist, but as soon as you start asking for money, oh, no, you can't have none. It's mine. It's like the yellow lanterns. It's mine. Yeah, that's right. I'm showing them all my different nerdness coming through. But I think this is what some of the owners don't get. Some of them do get it. I think Kroenke, he bent over to see St. Louis, but he already had plans in place in L.A. He knew what he was doing, and look where he ended up getting a Super Bowl. I think Cavill shafted the city of Oakland. A lot of the fans are disappointed. They've had fond memories, especially during the 70s when the Athletics were on top of the baseball world, winning back-to-back World Series championships. The battles with the Reds and the Pirates were phenomenal. And, it's definitely during the 80s when they had, the Smash Brothers with Canseco and McGuire. I saw those teams there. The Earthquake series with the Giants. There's been so many different great moments with the Athletics. And, of course, the Moneyball area had another great area until everyone started doing it. And then it wasn't so great. The owner has really, like I said, shafted the city of Oakland, shafted the fans of the Oakland Athletics. But the journey of athletics is not done. They will continue to thrive, and I think being in Las Vegas will help them be more successful. Right now, they're one of the worst attended franchises right now. I think I saw an article that on April 3rd, they only had like 3,000 show up for a game when they started the series with the Cleveland Guardians. 11, I think it was like 11 of the 13 AAA teams that played that day had higher attendance than Oakland Athletics. That lets you know something. AAA ballparks don't have, 30,000 seats. They may have 10,000, and they draw more fans than the Oakland Athletics, who at the time frame, the exact numbers, 3,035 fans. Of course, having a professional team raise the ticket prices makes it a little bit harder for average citizen to go, makes it harder to attract fans, especially if we don't use that money to buy for player salaries. It makes people kind of wonder why you're raising tickets. I think the parking was another issue. It was like $30 to park. That's more the city. But it is definitely a heartbreak for Save Oakland. The one that a lot of cities know that all too well. San Diego knows that for the NFL, Montreal for Major League Baseball, St. Louis for NFL. Minnesota knew that for a while for the National Hockey League as well until they got their own franchise. So it is a common theme a lot of times to have franchises just break the hearts of the local fans and start anew and actually make newer fans and have more success sometimes. It's the nature of sports. It's a business. Even though you think they're there to please us, they're there to make a buck on us. But we still enjoy it. It still provides us drama. It still provides us entertainment that we love to enjoy. We love some of the stories behind that, like the rivalries and everything about that always draws us in, especially chases for history, championship series. I mean, you name it. That's what we're there for. We're there for the drama, the highs and the lows. That's our escape clause. And unfortunately for the city of Oakland, the last of the professional teams will be leaving. Time frame of when they're going, that is up in the air. Because their current lease ends in 2024. They have not started building of the stadium yet. I don't think they have an actual rendering of what could possibly happen. There's talks out there of a move in 2027. I don't think Oakland was going to go there. It's going to happen. Mark Davis, has turned around and went after the Athletics. He tried to get away from him. Now they're following him. So it is definitely a bad thing going on right there. But in terms of that, we'll see what happens with them. I foresee them staying to 24. But after that, I think they're gone. They will end up playing in Vegas somehow, even if they have to play in Reliant Stadium for a bit. They may happen, much to the Davis' chagrin, or they may use one of the minor league ballparks out there. Like I said, it's not feasible, but it can happen. Look at the Arizona Coyotes in the National Hockey League. Right now, they play in a college hockey arena that does not have the same capacity of a typical NHL arena, which is about 15,000. They play on the third capacity of that. So it can happen. It's not feasible, but it will help establish the Athletics in Vegas quicker. It's going to hurt baseball in a while because it's going to bring their attendance numbers down. But if they're playing a 15,000 seat minor league park at the top, and you bring in 5,000 fans, 10,000 fans, that's better than what they get right now in Oakland. So I see the good, I see the bad. I see more of the bad because of the owner and how he's acted with his franchise and with the city, and his just disingenuous type of approach when it comes to that. But the Athletics have been fighting with the city for over 20 years for a stadium. And I think the owners should put in more money to help facilitate it. And I've kind of gone on and on about this one. There's so many different facets with this particular move. I already knew. I saw this coming, much to, I think, the chagrin of the Oakland fan base. They lose another sports franchise. The time frame for them moving is still up in the air. They've got the binding contract to buy the 49 acres. to build the stadium. Now they got to get the architecture in place and get the permits, they get the extra funding. So it's going to take another year before that project will probably get off the ground. Depending how quickly they get that stadium built, depends on how quickly I think the Athletics can actually start playing in that new facility. I think that's why they're looking at 2027. I don't see them staying in Oakland any longer than 2024. I just don't see that happening. There's no way they're going to draw any fans. They're probably end up losing money in 24 as well. So Oakland might look at moving to Vegas early just to play in the minor league park and just kind of deal with that aspect. But more to follow off this bombshell news. Like I said, is extremely late in my case because I was not aware of this. It was not a very large national push to disseminate this information. I happened just to stumble upon that not too long ago. Hours before doing this video, I saw things about this, and I was like, then I start searching up, and there's all the aspects and how underhanded this move was. But like I said, I've gone on way too long about this one. I know it's a long video, and I do apologize. When it comes to this, I kind of get a little excited because it's definitely a hot topic for a lot of locations and cities. Because they put all this money into building a franchise and support this franchise and end up moving. And especially when a franchise has been in the city for 50 years plus, it's going to hurt a lot when they move. But hey, thanks for sticking around. Remember to hit that thumbs up for me. It really helps promote this channel out. You also subscribe. Love you guys. Review my work. And love you all for doing that. That means you subscribe. This costs you a dime. Once you subscribe, make sure you click that bell icon and you turn on notifications. And next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time in Chat Sports Talk.